Welcome. Thanks for coming. This is going to go about an hour if you stay for all the festivities and the brownies. The formal part will last maybe a half an hour. You're free to leave after that. What we're going to do is ask each of the candidates who are running to come up here and make, I think I said how much did I say?
3 and 2.
3 and 2. Thank you, Jarod. A 3-minute opening statement to introduce themselves to you. And then we're going to ask them one question. What do you see as the future for Trenton? And if elected, how would you see your role in meeting that future? They'll have 2 minutes to answer that. So each candidate will do first their opening remarks, then their answer to the question, and then we'll go on to the next candidate. After all the candidates have done that, each candidate will have a chance to get on the Zoom and talk to the people that are on the Zoom using headphones. We'll have a little private chat over here. They'll take turns doing that for about 5 minutes while the other candidates mingle with those of you who are in the room. And then after that, anybody who wants to go can go. So that's the way we're gonna run it. Unfortunately, we had 2 candidates who were out of town today that could not get back in time. Danielle Cole will unfortunately not be able to be with us tonight, and neither will Perreault. So we've got 3 candidates left: Jarod Rollins, Susan Sargent, and Judith Sproule, and we'll do them in that order. So I think I've done the prelims. And at this point, I think I'll ask Jarod to come out. Now, Jarod is running for a 1-year seat vacated by Dan Monahan. And he and Sue Sargent are running for the same position. So Jarod, take it over.
Oops. You're keeping track of time because I'm notoriously.
I'm keeping track of time.
All right. I'm notorious for going over, but hello everyone. Yeah, I'm Jarod Rollins. I've been a resident here in Trenton for over a decade. I would say, what attracted me to Trenton, why I decided to move here was it's affordable place. It's close to where I work on the island at the Jackson Laboratory. It's close to many of the natural resources that my family loves to go out and play in. And it's also close to my family where I grew up in Central Maine. So for those of you that care, yeah, I did. I was born and raised in Maine. I'm even a 3rd-generation Mainer, if that matters, but it doesn't to me. I believe that if you live in Maine and you love it here, you're a Mainer. It's simple. It's as simple as that. Why I think I've got something to offer for the town based on some of my past experiences. I am currently Secretary of the Parks and Rec Committee. I helped out with Trenton Days last year to pull together the community and let people know what's here in Trenton, trying to put us back on the map a little bit bigger. And I've also been working in Parks and Rec to try to establish some trails and just in the very early planning process of that. I've also spent time on our Parks and Rec committee. And during there, I learned how to poll and reach out to the people and understand what the people want and sometimes more importantly, don't want. And during that time, I also made connections with the Maine Department of Transportation and started to understand how it works, if anyone does, as well as making connections with our Hancock County Planning Commission and the resources that are available for us there.
Yep, 1 minute left.
1 minute left.
But you don't have to use it if you don't want it.
Oh, I can go yeah, on and on. So I guess one of the things that why I'm interested in being on the select board is after living in Trenton for many years and came to the realization, honestly, it was after having a kid, that the fantastic resources that we have here are only because of the dedication and hard work of volunteers, right? This money can only go so far. If you don't care about your town and you're not willing to put in the time, then the things that we have and enjoy, they're not going to stay around. So yeah, the other thing that kind of I guess rose my awareness was Yeah, with the solar and realizing that we've got a lot of different people in Trenton and we see Trenton differently. And this town means different things to different people, and I want to know what that is and work towards a town that's going to work for everyone.
You know, your time's up.
Nice.
All right, so the question was, what do you see as the future for Trenton? And if elected, how would you see your role in meeting that future?
Yeah. Well, I'll actually start off that when the idea of me running for select board, actually many years ago before I was actually ready, to even think about it, I did go and talk to our town manager, Carol, and just asked her what she thought about the position. And she was like, well, the people who do the best are those that don't come with an agenda. And as someone that kind of had an agenda at the time, I needed to stop and think about that. And I think what she meant by that, if you've got these things that you want to implement at all cost, means you're not going to listen to the people and you're not going to actually do the job right. So not to say I don't like the question, and not to say that I don't have my own ideas, but the important part of this job is listening to the people and understanding what they want, because I'm a representative at the end of the day. But with that said, I think one thing we all can agree on is one of the most important aspects of this position is trying to keep the taxes as low as possible. Costs are going up. And taxes are probably going to go up, but and I think anyone that's worked on the budget committee knows there's not a lot to cut there. But we've got a wonderful location where we've got the resource of the island and marine resources here. One of the things I want to see to keep Trenton a place where people can start businesses, a place where we can raise a family, find community, a place where we can age in place. I think we need to attract more businesses here and use their tax revenues to help offset some of what we're doing. Some of the little minor things that I've heard come up and up again that I would like to see happen. And again, this is from talking to the people. Is I'd like to see a playground that's apart from our school and a little bit more centrally located to the residents, a place where we can meet and start forming a community. I'd like the fire department to get their cistern so that if there's a fire and thank you. And yeah, and like I said before, I'd like to see some more trails in Trenton to connect our community resources so that we can get around in our town without having to walk on the roads and on Route 3. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jarod. All right, Susan Sargent is next. Let me make sure I get you in the camera so you're looking good for the audience.
Do you need to announce who's on Zoom at all?
Well, Dar, tell us who's on Zoom.
Okay, we have Susan Sargent.
No,
Oh.
that she wants to know the names.
No,
of the
People might wanna know.
Who's on it? Okay. We have Alice Young, Emily Muse, Beth Graham, Wendeley Winslow, Carrie Jones.
There you go. Okay, you're beautiful.
Okay,
3
thank you.
minutes, opening remarks.
Okay, my name is Susan Sargent. My husband and I, we've lived here for 34 years. We've raised 3 girls, all through the schools. Our last one's just getting ready to graduate high school and be going off to college. I worked at the Jackson Lab now for 24 years. We have a garage here in town called Bill's Auto, if anybody has seen it. A little bit about myself. I am a past matron of Eastern Star. I've also been a 4-H leader, Girl Scout leader. I currently serve on the Board of Appeals here in Trenton. I do a lot of other community service stuff through the Jackson Lab. We've done tree planting and roadside cleanup and things like that. But the one that really means a lot to me is I go every year just before Christmas and we lay wreaths on the veterans' graves. So I'm really big on community service. I don't know if I have much more to say about myself because I kind of wrote my little note to go right into the question. So,
Well, you've
go
got
ahead.
2 minutes left if you want to use it, or you can do the question if you want.
I think we'll save any questions you have for me for that about myself
Okay.
afterwards. So the question was, what do you see as the future for the Trenton? And if elected, what would you see your role in meeting that for the future? Well, I had a hard time thinking about that. I think the town is in a hard position right now. The school budget is really killing us for taxes. Housing problem, rentals, that's a hard issue here in Trenton. There's no places for people to live, so that in effect for families means less kids in the schools. So we're gonna be seeing that dwindle. We are a suburb of Ellsworth. And where we're located, people want to bypass us and go right to Acadia. What do we have here in Trenton that can draw the tourist, hold them here? What can we provide for this town? And I think the townspeople need to think seriously about that. And that's my main thing, is my role for this, for the town. It's what I think. People need to be listened to. They need to maybe send out some questionnaires, some surveys. Where do we want our town to go? Where do we see us in 5, 10, 15 years? So do we want to be just a suburb? How do we want to grow? Maybe there's some people out there that have some ideas. I know we need businesses, but we also need housing for those people to live in. But do we want to be a straight shot bypass? That affects us because we have services that need to be provided for safety. And that's another thing in this town. We need to expand on our services. Some towns have trash pickup, all like that stuff is included, but I know our tax base can't afford anymore. It's at its end. So basically a spokesperson. A board works as a board, but they're a board to be a spokesperson for the people in the town and what their thoughts are. So
That's the 2-minute mark, but I'll let you keep going because you were short on the first one.
I basically am open to any ideas. I think we need to listen to everybody. We're a vast group of people in this town from all different ages, all different incomes. And, you know, I have no real agenda. I just want to serve and think we need to think more about where we're going. That's it.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Judy's next. Judith Sproule. Sproule. I've probably been pronouncing it wrong all this time. What would you say, Sproule or Sproule? Sproule.
The Sproule family says Sproule.
Well, Sproule.
I'm not offended.
All right, let me get you in the camera frame here. Step that way a little bit and now come forward. Okay, that's pretty good. Go. 3
Okay.
minutes.
Thank you all for taking the time to be here. I'm Judy Sproule, a candidate for the select board for the 2-year seat that's being vacated by Charlie Farley. And I am also a Mainer, a graduate of Bangor High School, grew up in Bangor, and I live here with my husband, Tom. We've made Trenton our home for 34 years, raised our 3 children here, all of whom attended our K-8 school. I was raised in a family that valued and participated in public service, and I've spent most of my adult life in volunteer roles, working for nonprofit organizations, working on finding solutions that make people's lives better. I've served on regional and state boards and committees to promote innovation and growth, and I'm currently working on a project I spearheaded several years ago to create Eastern Maine's Hub of Excellence in response to the state's 10-year strategic plan. COVID derailed the initial vision for that, but I am hopeful about working with local partners to develop a strong economy for this region. Trenton has some unique assets and can be an important part of this, as well as a beneficiary. Here in Trenton, I've served on the school committee for 12 years, including the years of school district reorganization. I served as the chair of both of the school committee and the regional planning committee, which at the time was really more than a full-time job. And as one of the founding members of the MDI regional school system that was created with the goal of creating a level playing field for all students in our region. This was a big benefit for Trenton students. And this experience also included working with the Maine state legislature, and I gained another skill set. So I can tell you from firsthand experience, Maine is a small town. Everybody has a voice in state government and can have a hand in legislation for the benefit of our communities. As school committee chair, I served ex officio on the Trenton Budget Committee. I've also volunteered to serve on the Budget Committee the last couple of years. And that leads to why I'm a candidate. For a few years now, I've been asked by others, some of you here, to consider running for a seat. So when the question was posed this year at a budget committee meeting, who will manage the budget process in the future? I said without hesitating that I could do that. My academic and career experience are in business, accounting, and finance, so budget work and money management are second nature to me. My fluency with a complex education budget is an asset, given it represents such a large part of the town's budget. And I've experienced working with Trenton residents and our neighboring communities, leading various factions through consensus to work together. So when I learned that Charlie was vacating the seat with the encouragement of others, I took out papers. And you all are the town's legislative body. Our elected and appointed boards serve you, and the will of the people is what governs this town. I'm committed to helping everyone in this town work together for everyone's mutual benefit. And I have some thoughts on, how to improve communication and make things more efficient. And I'm probably running out of time, so
20 seconds.
yeah, so we could leave that later. I'm happy to discuss that with anybody later.
All right, take the question then.
Okay.
What do you see as the future of Trenton? And if elected, how would you see your role in meeting that future?
Okay. I'm going to echo what the other two candidates said. You all taking the time to be here tells me that you value our community, and we need to be proactive in preserving it, making and keeping it affordable. It feels like we're at a critical point now where we need to make choices to determine Trenton's future, or as I heard Jarod say so eloquently a couple of weeks ago, or let somebody else do it. Many fundamentals have changed over time, and there are definite threats to the status quo, including affordability. We've seen issues arise here and in neighboring towns that challenge us, like large commercialization projects, glamping, short-term rentals. And I just wanted to share this map with you that shows these purple dots are all short-term lodging. And I think we ignore that at our peril. Finances are a key issue here, has been said. Real estate taxes affect everyone. And it's a fact of life that costs rise over time, but recent increases have been dramatic. And some of them, like the county tax, we have no control over. And every year we approach the Trenton budget asking what we can cut, but in reality, we can't just cut our way to prosperity. And I would like to help Trenton explore the revenue side of the budget and identify ways to increase revenue to reduce what we have to ask of our residents. I want to help make sure we take care of our vulnerable residents. People need to be able to afford to live here and to stay here. I've recently learned about some assistance programs the state has and want to help make sure people know about that so they can take advantage of them. Affordable housing, our town can't survive unless we make it possible for people to come to come here and buy homes here. And I know this is being addressed by Trenton with the League of Towns, and I'm interested in learning more about that. There's an item to be voted upon at the town meeting this year to update our comprehensive plan. And this is the opportunity for all Trenton residents to come together to identify priorities, values, and our shared vision and goals for the future of our town, to consider many issues such as economic development, environmental stewardship, infrastructure, community engagement, quality of life, and more. Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much. We're gonna now give first Jarod, then Susan, then Judy a chance to chat with the people on Zoom, and the others in the meantime, I hope will chat with you. So feel free to mingle, ask your questions of them directly, and help yourself to some brownies and cider. Thanks, everybody. The candidates are gonna sit here and answer their questions. So let me just set this up, Jarod, and I'll be ready for you in a second. Yes. Oh, I forgot. Oh, thank you. Okay, Cecilia, I had said before, and I meant to do this, and I'm sorry. There are some write-in candidates this year. The school board seats will not have anybody featured on the ballot, but there are a couple of candidates running as write-in candidates for the school board. And if any of them are here, which I know they are, I invite them now to identify themselves, say their name, and introduce themselves very briefly to the audience. I want to say, when you vote, if you're going to vote for a write-in candidate, be careful to both check the box and write the name. It's not important that you spell the name exactly right as long as your intent is clear, but it is important that you both check the box and write the name. All right, so put your hand up if you're a writing candidate.
I'm Cecilia Zavastosky. As long as you get the name close, you're good. That's what I've been told. But I also have it spelled here if you are, need that. Anyway, I just decided to go as a write-in because nobody turned in papers, and I'm a retired teacher, might have something to offer. And so
Good.
that's that.
Can you put something on your name on the Trenton Town Crier website so we can see how to spell your name?
Sure.
I'm Colleen Hanscom. I've previously been a selectman and on the school board. And I heard that there was nobody running the school board and felt bad that nobody was interested. So I thought I would run.
Thank you both for coming forward and doing
It's
that.
2 positions.
Two positions, 2 candidates. Thank you very much. All right, now we're gonna do the Zoom thing. Okay. All right, what am I doing here? We got this. And this.
Oh, is this the time to be?
Yeah. So my question is.
Let me see here. Bear with me. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna wipe down the headset and be sanitary here, and then I'm gonna put Jarod on, and you'll have 5 minutes to chat with him. So just give me a second and he'll be right with you. This is probably not necessary, but my mother told me never to share it.
Hello, everyone. I'm not hearing anyone, but I don't know if that's because they're all muted. All right.
Okay, we're unmuted.
Here comes Wendy.
I don't really have a question, but about what you said, but I do have a question about the issue of short-term rentals, which and the housing problem. I think it is somewhat I think it is oh, sorry, it's loud here. I think it's sort of a problem that there isn't enough housing, but I'm not sure that summer rentals are really the answer. Do you have any thoughts about that, about housing affordability and what we can do about that? Because I think a lot of the short-term rentals are summer cottages. You couldn't rent them year-round anyway.
Right. Yeah. Without winterization or something like that. Yeah. It's really tough because, I guess kind of philosophically, I'm not big on telling people what to do with their land and their property. But yet at the same time, there's an issue that's kind of affecting everyone, right? Because Trenton's population's shrinking. It's not growing. So that is something that's concerning. And so if we don't have the housing, how do we expect our town to grow? It's something that the Judy actually alluded to, is the Hancock County Planning Commission, HEPC, is in the beginning of trying to answer this. I don't think we've got the solutions, unfortunately, but trying to get towns together and on the same page to try to come up with solutions. So, yeah, it's tricky, right? Because and I hate to say this, but it's something we have to consider. You know, one of the costs, our biggest costs with education here in Trenton is people with disabilities. Now, I think people with disabilities need every opportunity to have a level playing field. That's part of what I think the job of the government is to have a level playing field. But there does seem to be a correlation between cheap housing and people with disabilities. So I am concerned that if we overdo it with cheap housing, we might end up having an education system that costs more than we can handle. So I wish I had an answer. It is a really complex issue, but at least I'm aware of some of the issues at any rate. Yeah, my pleasure. Happy to take any other questions or even hear about any of your concerns too. So in the few minutes that we have. Though I one of the things and again, feel free to cut me off, but one of the things I did mean to say actually that I wanted to carry on. I don't know if you know Dan Monahan, but one of the things that actually got me interested and allowed me to start helping out with the community was because of Dan and just his transparency and communication about what's going on in the select board. Because I believe most people want to help out, they just don't know how. And if we don't have good communication like Dan's been doing, yeah, we're not going to get the volunteers. So that's one of the things, that's one of the torches I want to keep going is his notes and the weekly posts on Facebook. They help me know what's going on. Yeah, I hope they help you guys as well.
Yeah, super helpful.
Right? Yeah. It's like if you miss sometimes you miss one meeting and it's like that was the one meeting where like 10 different things were decided on and feels like how it goes sometimes.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, my pleasure. Well, I think the other people are about their way over. So if you don't mind holding on just for one moment, and we'll do the switch unless there's any. Okay, sounds great.
Probably unnecessary, but my mother told me to share it. But no, you're absolutely right. So we'll just wipe it down a little bit. Well, I'm looking at here. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Is there sound?
Yeah,
Yeah. there's
Okay.
some
yeah, we can hear you.
Yep.
sound.
All right.
You want-
Alice, nice to see you. Emily? And Rachel? Does anybody have any questions for me?
I have a question. You mentioned, did you mention affordable housing?
Well, I didn't mention it, but we don't have any housing that's available for people here in Trenton. There's only so many rents. So I don't know what the option would be for us to help people with that. I mean, I know that we have a decline of students in the schools right now. But because there's no affordable housing, there isn't on the island. And we're a suburb of the island. There isn't affordable housing here. So, but I don't have any solutions, but I'm sure somebody could come up with an idea, could be an investor. Yeah. When we have these kids that are getting out of school, out of college, and we have all these jobs, these summer jobs that need attendance for people, they got no place to go. They got no place to live. Even our year round, people are working 2 jobs just to pay rent or co-housing with people. So it is an issue, and I don't know if Trenton could kind of relieve some of our tax base by becoming, putting up some housing. The Jackson Lab just did it for some of their workers. They built housing. So, and they're all rented. Anything else? No.
I do.
Okay.
Hi there. Sorry, I
Hi, Rich.
joined late. I couldn't
That's
get
okay.
in. But good to see you.
It's good to see you.
I'm curious, and apologies, like I said, you may have said it already. I'm curious about your thoughts on a comprehensive plan for Trenton and whether or not we need to relook at it.
Parts of it, I think, could be readdressed. I don't think we need to spend the money to redo the whole comprehensive plan. I'm under the understanding that you can take portions of it and redo it, and I think that would benefit us in ways. I know for our roads, I could see improvements for that, for getting grants. But I know it's a major, major expense and overhaul to redo the whole comprehensive plan, but yeah.
So what other parts would you redo if you were going to look at it?
Well, I know if they redo that, they also need to look at some of our zoning for the town, for residential, commercial. I know the solar thing created a lot of issues with looking at that. But yeah, it would help him with the direction of where our town needs to go. And I think that needs to be a lot of community discussion on what we want to do. What do we want for our town? Where we need to go? And we haven't had any open forums to do that. And I think the town needs to do that for the town people.
Oh, good. Because that's what the comprehensive plan would be, is engaging the whole town to build it, not just have it written by a small few.
Yeah.
But actually engaging of the whole town to get to talk about it and see where we want to go as a future. So are you in support of that?
I'm in support of having the open forums and discussing it, but I don't think we want to go through the major expense of redoing the whole comprehensive plan.
And as a additional to that, I'm a little curious, what are your thoughts on some of the ways that climate is changing and the ways that it might impact a peninsula like ours?
Well, I know a lot of the people that have property on the shore. They're doing a lot of preventative measures for the oceans, the storms, because there's been an uptake, but we don't have storms nowhere near like we used to. So I know there's a lot of people that have moved here and think the storms are pretty bad, but I've lived here all my life and it's nothing compared to what it used to be.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh no, go on, keep going.
As far as environmentally, I think we're doing okay for our town. This solar petition that went around, it was amazing how much community involvement there was in that. And I think that was great. One of the biggest turnouts for a town meeting yet. Yes, I have a few more people have raised their hands.
Oh, okay. I'll let other people go ahead and ask their questions.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. Wendy?
Oh, I wanted to just offer up a bit. Just offer up something. I too grew up in Maine. I lived in Maine my whole life, and I do agree that in many ways the weather is different. But for example, we are year-round residents on just off the Oak Point Road, and the damage that we incurred during the January storm of last year is going to cost us $80,000 to fix.
Yep.
So, it's all well and good to say the storms aren't as bad as they used to be, but
no, but that was a different, I know a lot of fishermen that lost their total wharfs, and I don't know of anybody in town that reached out to anybody who lost a lot during that, and we should have had somebody. I know there's still people working to get money to replace their wharfs, replace what they've lost. the money from the state has not come through. Yeah, they're still struggling.
Yeah.
So don't give up.
No, we're
You
not
should
gonna-
have some assistance in that.
Well, you know, it can, yeah.
It shouldn't come out of your pocket.
No,
If you've lost, you know, especially if it was a working wharf, there's support for that.
yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to turn this over to Judy. Thank you, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I need to turn the volume up if I can figure this out. Okay.
Can you hear us?
It's very noisy here. Somebody want to say something? And
Can you hear?
yes, I can. Thank you. Do you have questions for me?
Rachel has a question.
Yep,
Oh,
I'll
Rachel,
go
sorry.
ahead.
I see your hand. Sorry.
I can't.
I'm out of practice.
Yeah, no problem. I just can't see everybody, so I don't want to jump in front of anybody, but please sing out everybody else when you're ready. But I'm going to ask similar questions to what I asked Susan. What are your thoughts on a comprehensive plan for Trenton and engaging the town in looking at ours and revamping it?
And I'm sorry, engaging the county, looking at ours and
Revamping the comprehensive plan.
well, first of all, I'm hoping people will come to the town meeting because there's that warrant article to set aside funds to get this started. And I hope they come and then they vote for that. And I see this as, I mean, I think we're at a real crossroads here. And I see this as an incredible opportunity to bring people together and to involve as many people as possible over the period, which, you know, on average, I think takes a couple of years. I know in the past, like I think the last plan was basically written by a fairly small group and they probably had the required one public meeting. But I'm hoping that this will really engage people, bring people together, people, you know, will work together, will agree on common goals and really make this happen. Does that answer your question? Is that what you were looking for? Okay.
Yeah, thank you. And I actually, sorry, my phone's a little hard to navigate with Zoom. I had just one more follow-up. I see the environment playing a big part, the changing environment, rising sea level playing a big part in our community as a peninsula. I've looked at the slosh maps put out by, you know, the research on where low-lying areas in our town and what roads get cut off when it floods. What are your thoughts on, you know, what the role the town might have in addressing some of the changes that might come as a result of a changing environment?
Well, part of that is in the comprehensive plan, but also it was, I can't remember, within the last couple of months, Jana Richards, who's also a Trenton resident and recently started working at Hancock County Planning Commission, came and made a presentation to the select board about working with them on, and I can't remember the technical term for it, but it is, you know, a plan to assess what the, you know, assess what the threats are, assess what conditions are and what we need to do to be able to respond to it. And after that, I met with her and because I'd been working with her on another project and she had just switched jobs and I was curious to learn more about this. And she cited there are several areas that are covered by the comprehensive plan that we need to respond to, that Hancock County Planning Commission also has the ability to work with us, and they have sources of funding that they can apply for us. And I mean, we've got a lot of really talented people in this town, I think, but it will also take people like her, people, with the expertise on the technical pieces to put that together. And I think we should just, have our eyes wide open and utilize, there are a lot of resources out there, and use all these resources to figure out what it is that we need to do.
Great, thank you.
Other questions? That's what happens when you go last. I'm really excited about this opportunity that the update for the comprehensive plan will give us. I think that could really bring a lot of renewed enthusiasm and vitality to the town, to just get people working together on things that benefit all of us. And I'm really excited about that.
I'm just curious, do you happen to know where we might see the comprehensive plan?
You can I could send it to you, or if you go on Hancock County Planning Commission's website and
Okay.
click on Trenton, there's a link there. And the plan, I believe, is dated 2006, but you can download it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. No, I can find it.
Yep.
Good.
There's a lot of good stuff in there, but it just needs to be updated. There are so many things that have changed, and there were plans in there that they were written up but never really worked on either. But I think it's a good starting place.
Thank you.
And of course, there's new things the legislature has added that need to be included in an update. But like I said, I've learned that there are a lot of state resources around that we can use to help us. And if you're interested, what I'm hoping is that this will pass at town meeting, and then the select board will form a working group for this. So if you have any interest in working on it, keep your eyes out and let the town office know.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for taking the time to be here. I know there's a lot going on, especially on a weekend.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, thanks for running. We appreciate it.
Very much so.
I'm gonna look to Anne. Hold on just a second. Okay, if you don't have any further questions, I'm gonna turn this back over to Anne. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, I guess this is it. We're signing off. Thank you for joining us tonight. The candidates have come and gone. Thanks for jumping on. I'm going to say goodbye.
Thank you, Anne. Thanks for hosting.
My pleasure.